Hello, friends, and welcome to my new episode. Today, I will be talking about someone who is very dear to me and very special to me, and whose birthday it is today. Like me, a few generations of Bengalis swear by him and get overawed when talking about him. He is none other than Uttam Kumar, the legendary Bengali hero, or Nayok, as we say. In fact, Uttam Kumar is not merely a Nayok, but a Mahanayok, or the true superstar of Bangla cinema. Today, on Uttam Kumar's birthday, I'd like to talk about a few films of his which are very close to my heart. As I said, I'm so overawed by the magnetic personality and the star that Uttam Kumar was. It's almost impossible for me to make an objective analysis of his work, so I will not even attempt that. I will try and bring forward to you some of my personal favorites of Uttam Kumar. Now, Uttam Kumar had different facets to his personality. He had a varied appeal, which is the reason perhaps why he touched so many Bengali lives all through his career, and even 41 years after his death, Uttam Kumar still is alive in the hearts and minds of Bengali film lovers. And as I was saying, there are so many different facets to Uttam Kumar's personality, be it the romantic hero, be it the strong character performer, be it some unusual role choices. But no matter what he did, no matter what role he essayed, one thing was always common: the brilliance of his performance. He, I think, was one of the rare combinations of star charisma and great acting potential. And whenever those two combined together, the results were fantastic. Uttam Kumar, as I said, through different stages of his career, essayed different types of roles. And in my list of 10 favorites that I will be talking about today, I will try and include roles from each of those phases, rather than just stick to romantic or just stick to strong character roles. I will try and cover a large part of Uttam Kumar's histrionic brilliance. As always, lists are subjective, and hence so is this list of mine. Some of your favorites may be missing from my list. My apologies in advance for that. And again, the list is in no particular order. It's in random order, excepting perhaps the last three, the top three. They are in order. Without much ado, I'll start with the list. And at number 10 in my list is the wonderfully romantic and heartwarming drama Pathe holoderi. Directed by Ogrodut, Pathe holoderi is based on a short story written by Pratibha Boshu, and it's a story of a doctor, a medical student actually, who becomes a doctor the hard way, as he comes from the financially lower rungs of society. And he meets and falls in love with the granddaughter of a wealthy man. And the story is about the hiccups and the hardships they face in their love story, eventually culminating in a happy ending. It's a simple enough story, but Pathe holoderi stands out to me because of the absolutely crackling and fantastic chemistry between its lead pair, Uttam Kumar and Suchitra Sen. A legendary name, a legendary pairing in Bangla cinema, and Pathe holoderi is one fine example of their brilliant romantic pairing. Do see it if you haven't. It's a wonderful film studded with some brilliant songs. At number 9 is Kuhok, also directed by Ogrodut. And Kuhok is a very, very special film to me because it was released, I think, in 1959 or 1960. I'm not sure of the exact year of release. But it came at a time when Uttam Kumar's image of a romantic hero, and a top romantic hero at that, was at its peak. And for him to do a role completely outside that comfort zone, the role of a completely negative, an unapologetically negative character, that of a thief who is only driven by his endless and blind greed. To portray a role like that in a movie called Kuhok was not just courageous, but I think super courageous for a star of Uttam Kumar's stature to do a role like that. Kuhok is a good film. As a movie itself, it's a very good movie, but I think it stands out more because of Uttam Kumar's absolutely fantastic performance. Do see Kuhok. It's relatively harder to get than some of his other movies, but do try and find it. Maybe there's a link on YouTube, I'm not sure. Do try and find it to watch it. At number 8 is a movie towards the latter part of his career, in fact the last year of his life, in 1980, a movie called Dui Prithibi, directed by Piyush Bose. And Dui Prithibi literally means two worlds, and that's exactly what the movie is about, the two different worlds of two brothers, Mrinal and Kunal, portrayed by Uttam Kumar and a young Victor Banerjee. And it's a clash of ideologies, it's a clash of outlook in life, which causes the dramatic moments of the movie. Victor Banerjee is fabulous in his role, which has slight negative shades, and Uttam Kumar, as always, is magnificent as the elder brother. Just a small trivia, the current Bengali superstar Prasenjit plays the role of the young Uttam Kumar in Dui Prithibi, so maybe you'd love to spot him in the movie if you get a chance to see it. At number 7 again is a movie which is very different from the kind of movie we associate Uttam Kumar with normally. It's a movie called Jodubang Show, released in 1974, directed by Partha Chaudhary. And Jodubang Show is yet another amazingly different movie that Uttam Kumar acted in. It's a movie with very strong political backdrop, and it's a story of four young men who are sort of aimless drifters. They come from a certain privileged section of society, and they really don't do any work and are good for nothing and aimless. And it's a story about their lives, and Uttam Kumar plays a very central character. He is not one of those four guys, but a slightly elderly guy called Ghanada, and he is quite essential to the plot progression in the movie. Ghanada is an important character, but a character role at the end of it, and not one of the leading men. And Uttam Kumar he is fabulous in his portrayal of Ghanada, and it's a role completely removed from his image. And even in 1974, despite advancing age, he was still a top star. And for him to do a role like that of Ghanada's in Jodubang Show was quite path-breaking for its time. Do watch Jodubang Show in case you haven't seen it. At number 6 is a hugely personal favorite film of mine, Ognishar. It's directed by Aurobindo Mukherjee, and it's based on a story written by his brother Bono Phul, a story called Ogni, which is basically the story of this doctor, an upright, no-nonsense, practical, almost emotionless doctor. And Uttam Kumar has different shades to this role, because that's the kind of doctor he is at the start of the movie. Aggressive, almost insensitive, no-nonsense, emotionless person. And then how his character changes after the death of his wife, and he becomes more compassionate and more humane, and a softer side to his personality is discovered. It's a beautiful movie, very well made, and brilliantly acted by Uttam Kumar. Ognishar, not to be missed. At number 5 is Nagor Darpan, directed by Jatrik. Now, Jatrik is actually the name of three directors directing together: Shochin Mukherjee, Dilip Mukherjee, and Tarun Mujumdar. So the three of them formed Jatrik, and Nagor Darpan is directed by them. A fabulous, fabulous story which depicts the gradual mental disintegration of an intelligent, educated, middle-aged man in a city which is a symbol of urban alienation. And Uttam Kumar as Anupam puts in a magnificent performance. And as you get to see throughout the movie, the step by step, his disintegration, his breaking into bits, gradually. His performance is fabulous till it reaches the absolute low point where he's completely lost his mind, and he's no longer attached to anything which has sense in it, and he's just gone off the rails. And Uttam Kumar's performance is, according to me, one of his finest performances. A very disturbing, a very hard to watch film, Nagor Darpan, but do watch it just for Uttam Kumar's brilliance. He is magnificent in it. At number 4 is perhaps one of my favorite romantic movies of Uttam Kumar. Yes, it again stars his favorite co-star and mine as well, Suchitra Sen. And it's the Uttam Suchitra romantic film Chawa Pawa, directed by Jatrik. Yes, yet again, the trio of Shochin and Dilip Mukherjee and Tarun Mujumdar. Chawa Pawa is quite a straightforward adaptation of Frank Capra's classic It Happened One Night, and it's imminently watchable for the sizzling chemistry between Uttam and Suchitra. An absolutely fantastic movie and a huge, huge personal favorite for me. Chawa Pawa at number 3. At number 4, sorry. At number 3 comes Pinaki Mukherjee's Chorongi, based on the novel by eminent Bengali writer Shankar. Chorongi is, as a movie, I would say it is about an average or above average movie, but it is held together by the enigmatic and charismatic portrayal of Sata Bose by Uttam Kumar. And he is outstanding in the movie. A movie with an ensemble cast of, a large number of leading actors from the Bengali film industry of the time. But Uttam Kumar stands tall above them, way above them. He is absolutely fantastic as a man who has tragedy and sorrow in his life, but he internalizes them and portrays a completely different exterior with mesmerizing effect. Uttam Kumar as Sata Bose has definitely got to be one of his greatest performances of all time, and it's number 3 in my list. At number 2 is yet another romantic drama, yet again starring Suchitra Sen along with Uttam Kumar, and this time it's directed by Ajoy Kaur. Haran Ashur is the movie, based on the Ronnie Coleman starrer Random Harvest, a classic of the 40s. And Haran Ashur is a huge favorite about a man who loses his memory and is consigned to a mental asylum and brought back into the real world and normalcy by a caring doctor played by Suchitra Sen. A fantastic movie, a huge favorite of mine. Again, some absolutely mesmerizing and immortal songs in Haran Ashur just add to the glory and beauty of the movie. Before I come to my number 1, I'd like to mention a few films, sort of an honorable mentions category, and which also have fabulous performances by Uttam Kumar. One would be Shuno Boronari, co-starring Shupriya Chaudhary. One would be Stree, where he plays a debauched zamindar with mesmerizing results. Then is, of course, the brilliant psychological and insightful film Bicharok. Fantastic movie, Bicharok. Great performance by Uttam Kumar. Another one would be Kal Tu Bhi Aleya. Again, a wonderful movie. Do see it if you can. It also has a music composed by Uttam Kumar. I think it was the first time that he composed music for his own film, Kal Tu Bhi Aleya. Beautiful movie. And the psychological thriller Sheshanko, yet again made at a time when Uttam Kumar was at his peak as a romantic hero, and for him to act in this brilliant thriller was quite out of the box for its time. Do watch these movies as well if you get a chance, and if you haven't watched them already. Now coming to number one, no surprises for guessing. The number one is Nayok. What can you say about a movie when two greats like Satyajit Ray and Uttam Kumar come together? Not much, excepting that it has to be one of the finest movies ever made. Written by Satyajit Ray himself, quite strongly influenced by Bergman's Wild Strawberries in parts. Nayok is, I think, the pinnacle of Uttam Kumar's career, both as a star and as a performer. I had read somewhere that Ray himself had said about Uttam Kumar that if there was one star in India of Hollywood proportions, it is none other than Uttam Kumar. And coming from Satyajit Ray, we'll take it. We'll take it every day. So Nayok was the result of the two greats coming together, and as expected, the result was even greater. Charts a day in the life of a Bengali film superstar, a matinee idol, and who better to play that role than Uttam Kumar himself. A wonderful movie. I'm sure most of you watching this video have seen Nayok, so no point talking more about it. But for those rare ones who haven't seen it, do watch it to find out what makes Uttam Kumar such a great actor. Well, these were my top 10 favorites of Uttam Kumar. As I said, there could be a few I have missed out, which would be in your list. Do let me know in the comment section if you think a few other films of his should have been in this list. I'll be looking forward to seeing which ones I have missed out. Anyway, I had a lot of fun doing this video. As I said, it's about one of my favorite stars of all time, and I've tried to be as objective as I can whilst talking about him. Do enjoy some of his movies. As for me, I'll be watching quite a few Uttam Kumar movies today, and maybe over the weekend as well. You have a good weekend, and until the next time, bye for now.